What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Wrestling Fans Podcast. Now, I haven't done one of these in a very long time, and I would like to try. I don't want to make promises. I'd like to try to make this a maybe once a week thing, or maybe once a month thing. I'm not exactly sure. If you can tell, my background's different. I'm located in a different part of my house. But yeah, what made me want to talk is this whole thing going on with CM Punk. If you watched AEW last night, they teased since last week that they were going to show off. Oh, I think I'm a little. Let's just there we go. They teased to show off the whole All In London freaking drama that happened between CM Punk and Jack Perry because of the interview that Punk did, and now people are kind of slow when it comes to understanding the situation. Now, CM Punk, when this happened, didn't go out and blast it on Twitter. Didn't go and do a bunch of interviews and be like, "Oh, this happened, da 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 da." No, he stayed silent for like a year, and he went on this podcast the week of WrestleMania, and he was asked questions. Now, if you're asked questions during an interview, you don't sit there in silence. Because if you sit there in silence, it's a boring interview, and what's the point of being there? So he's asked these questions, and you can tell that he's like, do I want to answer these or not? But everyone who watched it, like Twitter for days, was just blowing up about CM Punk and, how he's likes to start stuff and everything. But he was answering questions that he was asked. So I don't see the problem with it. Now, there's obviously different sides of the story. And we have seen both sides of the story so far. And Punk explained everything that happened, which I was like, okay. He had a disagreement with the guy. I expected the fight to be worse. And then that was kind of it. Punk was just over how things were run there. Which, if you look now, AEW fans, I personally, I liked AEW when it started. I liked the idea of it. I didn't like how all of their talent became former, like, WWE talent. That's changed over the years that it's been a thing now, but I didn't like how they did that, and they don't really have that great of storytelling, and I'm more about storytelling. Ooh. If you want to talk about good matches, they can have good matches. The AEW has a lot of them. They have the gory aspect when it comes to like blood and everything. But there's like nothing really to it. Like with the whole Wembley thing with them saying like, oh, we had 80,000 people. That was an exaggerated number. Every pay-per-view is exaggerated. Because if you want to go off of that number that they showed on TV, then WrestleMania 32 is the highest with like 110,000 people. But realistically, they only had like 80,000 people, which is the most. Because if you look at the actual number from the All in London, they had like 72,000 or something like that. So it's just an exaggerated number. So yeah, with Punk and everything, he answered the questions during the interview. He knew it was gonna get backlash. You could tell just by looking at his face while he's talking about it. And he just gave his honest opinion on what happened and all that. And AEW got a lot of crap, but Jack Perry has had problems before with, other wrestlers being a disagreement. Now with that, Punk was trying to be like the role model from what I can see. Him going up to Jack and be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you don't need to use real glass for this one spot that you want to do. You can do like stunt glass or whatever it's called. But the guy being stubborn, and he's a young dude, and he took it into himself and did it anyway. And Punk clearly was upset over what happened. And in the video, Tony Khan, this is what blows my mind. If I was Tony Khan, I would be like, okay, let's move on. Let's move on from this situation. Jeez, there's like jets flying around right now. Dude, I'm like 20 miles from an airport. Anyway. If I was Tony Khan, I would be like, okay, let's see. Punk just spoke. Jesus, you hear that? It's so loud. Punk just spoke about this incident that happened back in like August. Now, let's just ignore it because he's talking about it. He's mentioning the AEW name on, he's in WWE now. So he's mentioning AEW's name. Just that gets people to tune in because he's a big figure in wrestling. And he should have just ignored it. But instead, a couple days after, he's like, oh, we're going to show the footage from that day so we can clear everything up. man, soda. What is up with this jet? Like, why is it is it circling my house? World War III? Is that happening? I'm just gonna have to talk over it because it's not gonna stop. What was I saying? But yeah, if I was Tony Khan, I would have easily just ignored it and moved on. But instead, he's like, we're gonna show the footage, clear the air, show you what actually happened. And keep in mind, Tony Khan said he was scared for his life. This incident made him scared for his life. Like something was going to happen where things could go wrong. Okay? But now, with this, they have the footage out. And they're trying to use the footage to hype up a match that they're having with the Young Bucks and FTR. Because FTR are friends with Punk. So, they're saying that because of the incident that happened backstage at Wembley, that's why FTR beat them back in August. Because it was a distraction and they had to put on their boss hats. Like, come on. Come on. Why are you trying to use this video for, like, some type of push for your story? Your story's going to be done once the match is over. Once you guys have that rematch, because they're going to be having, like, a rematch for, I don't know. I don't think it's a tag titles. It's some tournament. Because the AEW loves their tournaments, you know. They have a tournament every single week going on. Once that match is over and let's say FTR wins again, it's probably going to be the end of that. And the Young Bucks are probably going to get a tag opportunity anyway. Or for the championships or something. But they're using this footage as part of a storyline, which blows my mind that they are somehow trying to manage to turn it in like their own benefit. But overall, Twitter last night was going bonkers. People are just like people are showing footage of the crowd while they're showing this footage on the screen in the arena. And the whole time people are chanting CM Punk, CM Punk. And in the video, I can't show it. If I could, I would if I could. But AEW, since last night, has been flagging people on YouTube, been flagging people on Twitter for posting this video. And I'm guessing they normally don't do that stuff. But I'm guessing they're doing it because of the extreme backlash that they're having. But in the video, it's Jack Perry standing there. I'm guessing by the table where like the producer and Tony are, and like with the monitors and everything. Sorry, I'm doing this like before I go to work. And I just got up. But yeah, they're standing there. It's like he's ready to go out or something like that. Or just came back. And Punk walks up. You know, in his ring gear and everything, holding the AEW championship. You know, and they're talking. They're just standing in front of each other, like, talking like this. And you don't know what they're saying at all because there's no audio. It's just like security footage. And they're just sitting there talking. And you can tell that Jack said something to Punk because Punk looks over at like the guy next to him, kind of like, did he just say that? He just like looks over at him. They continue the conversation. And he just pushes Jack and like throws him to the ground or whatever, and then they just go on. Now, in my opinion, it wasn't that bad. You shouldn't have been scared for your life at all. I don't think Punk was in the wrong. I think he probably got very frustrated from something that he said, and it was just over everything going on there. Because the bosses there aren't bosses. It's pretty much just a bunch of friends doing what they want, and you can tell by the product on TV. You know, you have the guys that want to do something with their careers, and then you have the guys that are there to help run it and just wrestle for what it's pretty much like a house show. So in my opinion, I don't really like AEW. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like it. It's more of like a glorified house show. It's kind of like a house show with some of the attendance records that they have. But yeah, I this whole Punk thing, Tony Khan is a freaking clown for even giving into what Punk said. Should have Punk gone out and said all that stuff? Probably not. But he's in an interview. They were asking him questions. He gave the answers. That was it. That's where it should have stayed. Because AEW should not have responded, period. And people will get mad and be like, WWE makes these comments all the time about AEW. Like, Triple H said something about, like, on Pat McAfee's show, that he's glad he didn't get some people that he was trying to, because they chose to go to a place where the schedule is way, like, less, and there's not as much of a grind. They just show up to TV and then that's it. And then what happens? Will Ospreay comes out on TV. Oh, I heard somebody say that I don't like the grind. I fly from the UK to here every single week. It's like, dude, it's because you live over there. You live over there. You fly in to go to work. And then you go back home. Like, what? Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand some of the things they say. And it's, WWE will make these small, tiny jabs, but then AEW runs with it. Like, after what Punk said during that interview, 4 times during their next show, they had to make some type of a reference to Punk in whatever way. It's just a bunch of kids, pretty much, running AEW. Tony Khan isn't really a boss. At this point, he's the clown of wrestling. And it's sad. It's sad. AEW has a lot of potential, and they just need to make creative good and have good storylines instead of just these one-off matches that mean absolutely nothing, and having a record, like a win-loss record, that means absolutely nothing. Mercedes Moné is getting a championship match and she hasn't done anything. That makes sense. But to AEW, there's a lot of hardcore fans out there. But yeah, unless something changes with that company, I probably won't enjoy watching it. I just catch things here and there on like Twitter or Instagram. That's where I get all my AEW info from. But yeah, Tony Khan's a big idiot for allowing this to interfere with his product. But yeah, that's kind of just all I wanted to talk about on here. Obviously, WrestleMania just happened. It was amazing. There were some matches that were but I loved it. It was a good weekend. The Hall of Fame was good with Paul Heyman's speech. Amazing. And Raw after Mania wasn't the greatest. But, it's cool. It's, they're still continuing the whole Punk and Drew McIntyre stuff. So I think that's amazing. But yeah. That was the latest episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast. If you guys would like to, see more, let me know. If you agree with me, let me know. Also, if you disagree, let me know. You can do it in my Discord, you can do it in the comments, you can do it on Twitter, whatever. Yeah. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.